Alright, well, we're back because I had to make a correction. My last video I put out on how to swap the WJ power steering pump into your XJ, while all the information in it was correct, there was one part that wasn't. And it was brought to my attention when I had posted all my video to some Facebook groups. Somebody reached out and says, hey, you know what, that hose you used on there for the return line, it's not going to cut it. So what had happened was I had bought the power steering pump and everything from O'Reilly's, but they didn't have the hose that I need. So I went to a different parts store down the road. Turns out it took the pump in, set it on their bench, told them what I was doing, what I needed, and what they sold me was a heater hose. Now the heater hose did work. It actually worked really good. I was able to cut it down really short, keep everything nice and tight, and it worked out great. But the problem with using a heater core hose is that over time, the power steering fluid will actually dissolve the rubber on the hose, causing it to fail. You know what that means? Most of the chances are going to be you're going to be out on a trail and that hose is going to rupture, and all your fluid's going to come out, then you're in some trouble. And that would be my fault because I told you to get that hose. So I'm here to say, don't get that hose. So after it was brought to my attention, I jumped online, I started searching because I didn't want to go back to the parts store because they didn't have it, and obviously they're going to sell me the wrong one. But I jumped online, I got on Amazon, and I was able to track down the correct hose. Now, down in the description, I'll go ahead and put the part number, and I'll try to put the link to it through Amazon to make it really easy for you guys, because the problem I had was searching for a 1/2-inch ID power steering hose. You just get a basic results form from it. The big problem was you had to go through each and every single hose because it didn't say the size in the description. You had to really track down through there, but luckily, we found it. We found a lot of it. So the first kit that I'll show you, the part number on there is this one right here. That's for this hose. This is made by Gates, and it actually comes in a 10-foot section. The problem with this is it's not cheap. Because you got 10 feet of it and you don't need 10 feet of it, that's going to be an issue. And I did find another supplier that sells it. I believe it was in a 3-foot section. It was a lot cheaper, but the problem is it's not here. So I actually ordered this one, and then I went back, I saw the other one, ordered it, and I was like, well, whichever one shows up first, I'm going to go ahead and use. And luckily for me, it was the more expensive one, so now that's not getting returned like my original plan. So looking at the old video, you can see the old hose was very short. Now the problem with this new hose is it's a lot thicker, so I had to make the new hose a lot longer. It's just about 2 foot worth of hose, because to get the bends out of it so it doesn't kink, it's just something you got to do. And I'll show you here in the video what the new one looks like. As you can see, it is a lot longer, but it still has a nice clean look to it. It's not bound up, it's not kinking, everything flows through it nice and smooth. I know this because when I purged the air out of the system, it really didn't take very long to do it. Would I have rather had the smaller hose on there? Absolutely. I mean, it looked way better, but if it's not gonna work, it's not gonna work. So, pulled the plug on it, we got the new hose on. I took this thing out and I test drove it, and I mean, I drove it. I went full on Ace Ventura style with this thing.
If I could just find a parking spot.
And why did I do that? Because I wanted to make sure this time we're good. Now another thing that was brought up on the Facebook post that I had put it into in all the groups, people were saying that I should have drilled out the fitting on this, on the high pressure line. Now a lot of people were saying to do this because the pump starts making a weird noise or it's got fluid flow problems. I don't know. I don't have that problem. So I'm not drilling this thing out. Now over time, if something develops, maybe I will, but as for right now, I'm not touching it because I've got no issues with it. There's the factory line, factory fitting, and we're good. I mean, I'm not drilling. If I don't have to drill it, I'm not doing it. With the new return line on there, since it is a little thicker, you do kind of have to crank down on the hose clamps a little bit tighter. But after lengthy test driving over the past few days, I can tell you I've got no leaks. Everything's dry. I did see online that people were doing multiple different setups on how they ran the piping and all that. I mean, I've seen like plumber's piping, I've seen hose clamps, I've seen adapters, different size hoses going to different size hoses. But I can tell you, running the 1/2-inch ID hose. It fits on the main return on the bottom of this reservoir, nice and snug. You can put one hose clamp on it, you're good. The fitting down on the actual gearbox itself is a different story. It is smaller, so when you put the hose clamp on, I did run 2 clamps on this because there's actually 2 sections of that tube that comes out that's got a flare on it. So 2 hose clamps seems good to me. Everything's dry. The true test of this pump is going to be when we get her off-road. Get it bound up, get it on some off-camber stuff, and see how this pump actually responds to it. Being as I'm in town working on stuff and doing that, I can't tell right now. I can tell you street driving it, it's a lot easier. It's got great response to it. I do run a 33-inch tire on this, and I can tell you this new pump really works out nice. So if you're actually considering doing this swap, I say go ahead and do it. If your old pump is whining, I mean, why not? So my goal in making videos like this is to give you guys an idea of what's actually involved in doing a project like this, because I know we all get on YouTube, we all get on the internet, we like to search around, we get on the Facebook groups to see what people are doing because you have that idea of doing something. And that's always kind of how it's been with my channel, is document what I'm doing, show what's working, show what might not work, especially in this case. But I want to make sure you guys are given all the information so that you can decide if you want to do this project, and the information I give you needs to be correct. That was my goof on my part. I just assumed that we were good because, like I did, I told the guy at the parts store what I needed, what I was doing, and that's what he gave me. But the good old internet came through again. I will put both part numbers to both hoses that I ordered from Amazon down in the description. If you want to get the Gates, the 10-foot section, you can do that. Or you can get the other one. It was a 3-foot section. It was way cheaper. Unfortunately, I went with the Gates because it just happened to show up first. As far as the other one goes, I don't know. It'll probably be here in a couple more days. But as for now, that one's done. But to recap through all this, the WJ steering pump on the XJ, I like it. I've got no issues with it yet. If something comes up, you guys will be the first to know. But I think we got a solid upgrade on this thing. So that's going to wrap it up with the internet upgrade projects. We got many more to come, but I wanted to get this video out so you guys had the right information and the links to the right part numbers for the right parts so you can do this on your XJ at home. Well, everybody, I hope this helps you out on doing this conversion to your Cherokee. Sorry for screwing up the first time and giving you the wrong advice on what part to get, but hopefully now everything's corrected and we can continue on with some more projects. So, as always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. I'll see you in the next video.